Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, hi, hello, wow, okay, I'm pumped, I'm excited for this video. So, as you can tell by the title, yes, we are going to be talking more about the current ongoing Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial that is going on right now. I did do just one video like this already, and I had a lot of fun ranting and raving, and a lot of you guys actually seem to enjoy it as well, and a couple of you guys have asked for more trial videos, and I asked you guys on my YouTube community tab to vote on what you wanted to see. Did you want to see more trial videos or no? And a bigger majority said yes, and, a smaller majority said no. So if this isn't your thing, or if you're sick of hearing about it, I totally get it. I totally understand. You can just skip this one and wait for my next video. But for those of you, wow. But for those of you who wanted to see another video like this, here you go. So, like I said, the trial is still currently ongoing. We don't have any sort of verdict as I'm sitting here filming this. What I can say, though, is I have watched every single day now. I am officially all caught up as I am filming this. I am waiting for I think this is day 15, I'm pretty sure, day 15 of the trial. So I am officially all caught up, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of all of the facts based on what I have watched and what I have been able to understand, and just what's going on with the case thus far. So we're going to do the same style like I did last time. I'm just going to put on some makeup while I talk about it. I went in. Okay, I went in, alright? We have, fucking notes this time, bitch. Typed up, highlighted, written on notes for this because I didn't want to forget a single point that I wanted to make. I may still forget a point, but, that's just me. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing my thoughts and opinions and observations and comparing Johnny Depp's expert witness, forensic psychologist, Dr. Shannon Curry, and we're going to be talking about Amber Heard's forensic psychologist that was testifying on her behalf, Dr. Dawn Hughes. Her name is Dawn, like Dawn dish soap, so I'm just going to be calling her dish soap in this video, so if you hear me say that, I'm talking about Dawn Hughes. We're going to be talking about Dr. Curry's testimony versus Dr. Hughes' testimony. I have things I want to say. I have some major thoughts. So, like I said, we're just going to put on some makeup and we're going to talk about this shit because I'm, flabbergasted. I'm, I almost, can't even believe this is happening right now. And I have been thoroughly enjoying watching this whole thing. Now, it is entertaining, but not in the way that you would think I mean by that. These are two people, these are two human beings, and this is their real life being aired out to everyone all over the world, basically. So it's not entertaining in that aspect. It's entertaining to watch how court proceedings go down, or how they question their witnesses and how they write a narrative for the jury. It's all just been very interesting to watch. I have had a very, very good time with it. I mean, obviously, I'm fucking typing out notes now. Johnny Depp, I think the last time I talked to you guys, Johnny Depp was on the stand and he was giving his testimony. He was basically telling his truth. The first time in the last 6 years, this is the first time he has been able to give his truth, right? Well, he has officially finished all of his testimony, and I must say that the evidence that he presented on his side, the plaintiff's side, has been quite damning to Amber Heard as far as the recordings, the pictures, all of the expert testimony, witnesses. One thing that I thought was very cool and very admirable about Johnny Depp is I noticed that a great deal of his witnesses were either people who have known him or worked for him for 10 to 30 years. And that's a long time to, be around somebody. And I just found that very, very cool, and I think that says a lot about Johnny Depp's character as a person, to have people stick by his side or have his back or just be there for him for so long, like payroll or not. I just thought it just says a lot about his character, and that's one thing that I noticed is every time they would ask a witness, you know, how long have you known Johnny Depp? Like, oh, 15 years, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, like, it's just, it was very, very cool, and it just said a lot about his character. And another thing that I thought was hilarious is that even Amber Heard's ex-assistant, she was a sassy bitch, I loved her. Amber Heard's ex-assistant even testified against Amber Heard, okay? Now, if that doesn't tell you anything, we're not watching the same trial, because that's like, that says a lot about Miss Heard, okay? Now, before we jump into Dr. Dawn Dish Soap Hughes, I just want to give a huge shout out. The best testimony that I have seen in this whole entire trial so far is from licensed forensic psychologist Dr. Shannon Curry. Can we just get just a round of applause for Dr. Curry, because bitch, oh my God, her testimony was so good. It was so incredibly well put together and knowledgeable. I watched it twice. I watched the direct, the cross-examine, and the redirect twice. Okay, you know how many hours that is? Do you even know? But it was so good. It was wonderful. I just found her to be like incredibly knowledgeable, non-biased against gender. She was smart. She gave really good hard facts. She was well prepped. And she also had really, really great eye contact with the jury and the lawyers. Very professional. She just handled herself so well in her direct examination, in the cross-examination. Like, she never broke. She handled herself in such a way that I was like, I want to be Dr. Shannon Curry when I grow up. Like, am I right? I fucking love her. I had to give like a special shout out and talk about Dr. Shannon Curry for a minute, because she just deserves all the fucking muffins, am I right? So after that amazing testimony, a few more of Johnny Depp's witnesses went on the stand, and then the plaintiff rested their case in chief. So basically that means that they have presented all of their witnesses, they have all of their evidence in, and they're ready to rest their case for now. And now it's time for Amber Heard's side to have their turn with their witnesses and all of their testimony and whatnot, okay? So this is the day that everyone was waiting for, okay? You know, it's Amber's turn. Like, let's see how many lies we can catch her in. Let's just... Everyone was real anxious for Amber Heard's turn. But there was a twist. There was a twist. Now, we thought, you know, it was going to be Amber's turn, and she was going to hop right up there, and she was going to get going, and she was going to, you know, put on her horrible acting cap and just go to town on Johnny. But no. Amber Heard's team did something that I was shocked about, but apparently I learned later that it's actually a very common court practice. But Amber Heard's team made a motion to strike the entire case. Like, just have the entire case thrown out, they both go home, move on, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, okay. So people have said that this is a common court practice. I don't know why it's common. People have told me that some stuff like this almost always happens in court, and I was like, oh, okay. So basically, in my opinion, I think that they wanted to strike the whole case because I think that they don't have anything. Like, they have no solid proof. They don't have a case. So they wanted to make a motion to have the entire case thrown out, and they made 3 arguments. There was a total of 3 arguments that they made to the judge. The judge denied the motion to strike, which is a huge win for Johnny Depp, because that basically means that the case is going to continue on, and Amber Heard and all of her witnesses will be taking the stand to tell their story and to tell their truth, basically. And it'll be up to the jury, the fact finders, to decide whether or not Johnny is being truthful or Amber is being truthful. Okay, this sounds like a whole fucking soap opera, am I right? So basically why the judge denied is she said that there is a lot of evidence in favor of the plaintiff, which is Johnny Depp, that makes Amber Heard, the defendant, look bad. You know, that evidence is enough for the jury to find Amber Heard guilty of defamation. So she denied the motion to strike, and the case is to continue. I don't know like legal stuff. I'm not like an expert or anything, but I took that as, you know, Johnny's doing very, very well in court, and he's also doing well in the court of popular opinion. And I remember watching the motion and both lawyers making their arguments, like Rottenborn was trying so hard to get the case dismissed and thrown out and blah, blah, blah. And I was getting real nervous because I didn't know like what the judge was ultimately going to decide. So I was like, oh my God, this is so nerve-wracking. And then the most precious baby angel, Ben Chew, who is one of Johnny Depp's lawyers, first of all, he is just absolutely fucking precious. When I'm watching the live streams, like, I just can't help but love him so much. He's so cute, and especially with his little gummy bears that he brings every single day. Like, we must protect Ben Chew at all costs, okay? Let's just get that right. Let's just get that out there, okay? Ben Chew is amazing. But when he got up there and made his arguments on why the case should continue and stating facts about the expert witnesses and all of Johnny's, you know, testimony and all of Johnny's witnesses and blah, 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 he was killing it. He was killing it on the stand, okay? Like, and you could tell the judge was like, hell yeah. And I was like, okay, we might have a shot. Like, this is great. And then finally, when the judge denied the motion to strike, I was like, yes! Hell yes! So after that, basically long hour of that thing trying to get thrown out, it was now Amber Heard's turn. Now, they had a little bit of a change of events in how they were going to do things because Amber Heard originally was to take the stand first, and she was going to give her testimony. I think that's how they did it, but they had a little bit of a change in plans. So instead of Amber going first, they called Dr. Dawn M. Hughes, a board-certified licensed forensic psychologist who has been in the field for over 25 years. That right there, what I just said, sounds intimidating as fuck. This doctor is testifying on behalf of Amber Heard, and she has claimed to make a psychological evaluation that is going to contradict Dr. Shannon Curry's evaluation of Amber Heard, and she is going to state those facts, and she is going to make those arguments based on what she found when she evaluated Amber, okay? One thing you need to know about Dr. Dawn Hughes is Amber's legal team knows her very well. Amber's legal team have also used her in previous cases, and I think that's one of the reasons why they used her. Another thing I noticed is when Dr. Hughes took the stand as Amber Heard's legal team's first witness, the first thing I noticed is she had a huge, and we're talking a huge, like, briefcase zippy-uppy thing of notes. Just notes that she brought up on the stand with her. And I didn't really quite understand why she was doing that, because if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure everyone else who has testified on the stand thus far has only ever brought up a bottle of water on the stand with them, but not this bitch. She brought an entire briefcase full of notes. So I was a little confused by that. I'm not quite sure if she was allowed to do that. I mean, clearly she was, otherwise the judge would have told her no. If you'll remember, Dr. Curry, when she took the stand on behalf of Johnny Depp, well, not on behalf of Johnny Depp, but when she took the stand to tell the court and the jury her results of evaluating Amber Heard, if you remember correctly, she did not have any notes up with her. She only had a bottle of water and her glasses with her. She didn't bring up any notes. She had to retain all of the information right up here. So I just thought that was a little bit interesting. Did you guys find that interesting? I sure as shit did. So, okay, my first impression of her was like, she kind of looks like Ursula, kind of looks evil. Me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable talking to her about like DV and SA and stuff like that. She just doesn't look very warm and welcoming. Whereas Dr. Shannon Curry, I could lay on her chest and cry about all my deepest, darkest feelings for hours on end. You know what I mean? Like, Shannon Curry just has this warm feeling about her, whereas Dr. Hughes, I didn't get that. She didn't make me feel comfortable. Like, if I walked into a therapy session and saw her sitting there, I'd be like, you look like you might eat me. But I thought, okay, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's listen to what she has to say. Let's listen to her arguments. Let's see what she found. Let's see exactly what she is going to contradict or try to prove otherwise from Shannon Curry's diagnoses. Let's just, let's sit and let's listen and let's take it seriously. And the reason why I'm doing a video on like the psychologist aspect of this whole case, I'm sure a lot of you don't care, but for me personally, one of my all-time favorite subjects in high school was psychology. I even took AP psychology, even though I dropped out after like halfway through it. I love psychology, always have. That's why I find this testimony and this kind of like witness stuff so incredibly fascinating. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to listen. But let me tell you when that changed real fucking quick, okay? And let me tell you why. So Dr. Hughes claimed that Amber Heard did in fact not suffer from bipolar disorder and histrionic personality disorder, whereas if you guys talked about I didn't talk about this in the last video, but Dr. Shannon Curry, her testimony, she gave Amber Heard an evaluation. She gave her a bunch of DSM-5 tests, the MMPI, the CAPS-5. I think there's a couple other ones. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. And Dr. Shannon Curry diagnosed Amber Heard with bipolar personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. And she also found that Amber Heard did in fact not suffer from any form of PTSD from her marriage to Johnny Depp, in the 15-month marriage or the relationship with Johnny Depp. That's what Shannon Curry found, and she went into great detail and talked all about, how she came to these diagnoses, how she performed these tests, how she read these tests, how she read those scores, how she described Amber's personality and things with people with borderline personality disorder, what they're like as people, what they're like in relationships, the things that they do, the things that trick them off, the things that, show this narcissistic behaviors. Just very, very knowledgeable and extremely credible witness. But Dr. Hughes claimed, first off, she claimed that Amber Heard did in fact not suffer from borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder. She also claimed that Amber Heard did in fact suffer from PTSD. Now, if you'll remember, if you watch Dr. Shannon Curry's testimony, she said that PTSD is one of the hardest things to diagnose as a psychologist, as a therapist, as a whatever, because a lot of people can falsify it. I think she said like 9 times out of 10 or 98% of people on the street can pass that test, can pass a PTSD test, and they can claim they have PTSD. It's a very, very hard thing to diagnose in somebody, and there is a very specific gold standard test that you take to determine whether or not someone has PTSD, and that is called the CAPS-5, I believe. That is the mandatory test, the gold standard test that psychologists will use to determine whether or not someone suffers from PTSD. Now, one thing is Dr. Hughes did say that she found similar spikes in scores similar to what Dr. Shannon Curry found, but still determined in the end that Amber did in fact not suffer she did not have any sort of personality disorder whatsoever, which I found very, very interesting. Now, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that Amber Heard does or doesn't suffer from a personality disorder. If she does, that's fine. If she doesn't, that's fine. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody with personality disorders. I personally believe that she does. And I'm not saying that makes her a bad person, even though she is a bad person. I'm not saying that her having a personality disorder or not having one is like a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just stating I personally think that Amber does have a personality disorder. It's based off my own fact finding and my own personal opinion of watching this case. After Dr. Hughes said that Amber did in fact not suffer from any personality disorders, this is when it all starts to go way fucking downhill. And I had to do a double take when I was watching this because I could not believe what I was hearing, okay? I personally think that it was a huge mistake to bring Dr. Hughes on as their first witness for Amber's team because I feel like they have just severely damaged their case right from the start and they haven't even gotten started yet. Right away, right off the bat, Dr. Hughes starts using terms like she, her, woman, women when talking about victims of domestic violence, completely disregarding men into this domestic violence equation. She was stating a very, very gender biased opinion when it comes to domestic violence, almost like she was saying that men can't be victims, which is a big problem. And she was making statements like women can't do as much damage as men can. Men are much bigger than women. Women only women only show reactive abuse towards men because men always start it, or men are abusive, or if a man slams a refrigerator or slams a cabinet or mumbles under his breath, he's being abusive. And I was like, my jaw was on the fucking floor, okay? I could not believe what I was hearing. Like, men hold all the power and every woman is a victim. Like, bitch! Again, big problem. She is completely biased when it comes to domestic violence victims, and that is a huge no-no for someone in her field. She should be absolutely ashamed of herself for making those biased statements. And then after that, she starts going into so much hearsay, okay? Dr. Hughes was brought on to be an expert witness in the forensic psychologist field, and she was supposed to report on her findings of the evaluation of Amber Heard. But she, in fact, does not do that, okay? She does a little bit of that in the beginning, and then very quickly it moves into all hearsay. Nothing but hearsay, making claims of what Amber Heard had told her, and she was stating that to the jury as facts, okay? You can't do that. She would say things like, well, Amber told me on this occasion, or Amber said on this occasion, or Amber this when she was there. Like, that's all hearsay. Unless she was there, unless Dr. Hughes was there as a fly on the wall when all of these instances of abuse were taking place, unless she was there and she physically saw it with her own eyes, you can't say that because you weren't there. Therefore, that makes it hearsay. Now, one thing that a lot of people brought up, and I kind of thought this too, but then I very quickly realized that I think it was all strategy. Now, people were like, why aren't Johnny Depp's lawyers objecting with hearsay when Dr. Hughes was going on and on and on about what Amber told her? Like, she would be like, well, Amber on this night, she went through this from Johnny, and Johnny did this to her, and then Amber told me this. Like, it sounded like so much high school catty bullshit that I was like, I was in pure shock. I was like, is this for real right now? So anyway, people were like, why isn't Johnny's team objecting to this? Like, and my personal opinion, because I thought the same thing. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, okay, they're being strategic here. They want Dr. Hughes to go on and on and on, and they want her to ramble on and on and on. They want to make her look as non-credible as possible. So the more that Dr. Hughes is word vomiting out of her mouth, Johnny Depp's team is taking notes, and Johnny Depp's team is preparing for the cross-examination, because whenever someone is doing a direct examination of somebody, the opposing team who is ever going to do the cross-examination has to pay very, very close attention, and they have to catch things like this. So Dr. Hughes word vomiting all of this hearsay and all of these things that she claimed happened for fact. You know, Johnny Depp's lawyers are very smart, okay? They know what she's doing and they know what they're doing. So they just want her to keep word vomiting, and it's going to help them with their cross-examination. That's why I personally think they did not object as much as they did, and they're basically going to rip her apart for cross-examination. They want her to keep digging her grave, and Johnny Depp's team is going to throw the dirt over her, so to speak. Now, like I said, Dr. Hughes was brought in to be an expert witness in this case. Half of her testimony was not expert testimony. It was her biased opinion on domestic violence, and it was her hearsay on what happened to Amber Heard. She was stating crimes that had happened to Amber Heard, okay? Now, big problem there. That's not expert testimony. Expert testimony is to provide non-biased research and their findings of all of the evaluations that they did on their client, and it's supposed to revolve around their field. Nothing more. Psychologists are not fact finders. The only job of Dr. Hughes was to take her subject, take her client, which was Amber Heard, do evaluations on her, perform these tests on her, and she is not to divulge and to determine whether or not a crime actually took place. That is beyond the scope of a psychologist. I just said, and I'm quoting Dr. Curry here, psychologists are not fact finders. They cannot determine whether or not a crime actually happened. They can take their client at their word, but that is the only thing they do with that, okay? They don't necessarily have to believe them. They don't necessarily have to blame the partner. They don't have to determine who was the victim and who was the perpetrator. That's not their job. Dr. Hughes was completely out of line, and she made herself look very non-credible with her testimony testimony, she made herself look very unprofessional, and she made male victims of domestic violence, look so cheap. She made herself look like a fool, in my opinion. That her testimony was so god-awful. It was so bad. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is essay topics. Okay, so here I am going to put a trigger warning. So trigger warning to anybody who may get a little uncomfortable with sexual assault talk or the R word. If stuff like that makes you uncomfortable and you do not want to hear this next little bit that I am going to talk about, it took me a lot myself to muster up the guts to talk about this. Even when this talk was going on in court, I had to stop and take a break because I was getting very, very uncomfortable. So if this kind of talk makes you guys uncomfortable, please skip to this part in the video where we will get back to the rest of the stuff. But for this little portion, I am going to be talking about the SA or sexual assault stuff, okay? Dr. Hughes had already pissed me off at this point, basically discrediting men who are victims of domestic violence, basically saying that women are the only sex that can be abused in a relationship, just saying stuff like that. But it got even worse when she got on the topic of the sexual assaults that Amber Heard claimed that Johnny Depp committed on her. The years that they were together, before they were married, after they were married, just these awful, absolutely vile things that Amber Heard claimed that Johnny Depp did to her. For instance, being penetrated with a alcohol bottle. I think it was either a wine or a vodka bottle. I can't remember which one. She keeps changing her story. Being pushed and dragged around with just fingers in her vagina. Like, just these awful, painful, vile, absolutely horrible things. And what pissed me off about this fucking psychologist is she was stating these things happened to Amber like they were a matter of fact. Like she was there, but she was not there. She cannot say, yes, this happened, or no, this didn't happen, because she was not there. She was here saying all of this sexual assault stuff, and I was getting so frustrated. That is not her expertise to go on and talk about what did happen or what didn't happen. That is not her job. Now, when it came to the SA stuff, I'm just going to call it SA stuff. When it came to that, I had a few really big problems with these accusations, and I would like to talk about them. Now, I'm going to try to stay as calm as possible here, but I'm going to tell you right now, okay? If you're a woman and you are being penetrated with something, you know, like an alcohol bottle, that would be so painful and would cause so much damage and trauma to that area, especially if the alcohol bottle, if the cap wasn't on or the cork wasn't on, whatever, if she was being quote-unquote R-word, an alcohol bottle with the top or the cork off, the pain would be so much more advanced because of the suction. Because of it, I'm not going to talk more about that, but just the suction that would happen while you're being assaulted with an open alcohol bottle. We're talking bruising, bleeding, tears, all on the severe measure. And I don't know Johnny Depp personally, obviously. I've never met him. I have no idea what he's like behind closed doors. I only know him from his character that I have seen from witnesses and what I have observed and who I believe the kind of person that Johnny Depp is. Now, Johnny Depp is not a perfect person at all, okay? He has addictions. He says mean things. He's not a perfect partner. Does he get a little protective and a little jealous in his relationships? Sure, I can see that. However, doing something like the things that Amber Heard claimed he did to her is insanely vile. It is insanely disgusting, and that is a very bold and very out there claim to make about somebody. And stuff like that is just pure fucking evil. Something a very sadistic person would do. The sickest, most fucked up, sadistic rapist, that is something they would do. I do not for 1 millisecond believe that Johnny Depp committed these god-awful, vile SAs on Amber Heard. I do not believe that Johnny Depp ever did that. I do not believe it. I don't believe it is something Johnny Depp would do. I don't believe it is something Johnny Depp would even think about doing. It's just, it's so fucked up, dude. Like, you don't make claims like that, okay? Now, here's where I have another problem with this accusation, is Amber Heard claimed that this SA with the alcohol bottle happened in Australia. She said that was the worst incident and it happened in Australia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure people have testified to be either being in or around the house in Australia when this incident supposedly took place. Now, when this incident took place, they were fighting. And I believe people have testified to hearing them fight. Now, I don't know if this is the same Australia incident where he had his finger cut off. I'm not 100% clear on that, but I'm pretty sure that's when she said this happened. Now, what I want to know is why did nobody hear Amber Heard screaming bloody fucking murder when this was happening to her? No one heard her scream. No one heard her cry for help. Because I tell you what, if something like that is happening to a woman, I can tell you right now, 100,000%, you would be screaming in immense pain. The only thing people had testified to hearing was hearing them scream, fight, and Amber Heard yelling and screaming obscenities at Johnny Depp. Also, another thing is after an SA assault like that, a doctor's appointment would almost be inevitable. You would have to see a doctor for that, okay? Because one, you wouldn't be able to walk very well. You would be in a lot of pain. So unless Amber Heard's vagina is made of pure steel, there's no way there wasn't any blood or any bruising or any severe pain or any concerning side effects from an assault like that. Did she even go to a doctor? Is there proof of any vaginal damage consistent with an SA assault like that or any SA assault in general? I doubt it. Like I said, we still have yet to see of any proof of doctors' notes and things like that talking about whether or not she had an OBGYN pap exam. Now, I'm not saying that in every SA assault that there is damage shown. Sometimes there isn't. But in an assault like what Amber is accusing Johnny of, there would definitely be some damage up in there. So like I said, we still have to wait and see what they're going to come up with. We still have to wait and see what they're going to find. We don't know. Maybe she did go to a doctor and have her lady bits examined. We don't know yet. I don't think she did because I don't think any of this fucking happened. Now, this next thing I'm going to talk about, don't take this to be 100% factual. This is something that I found when I was doing like my own personal research on this case and all this kind of stuff. Now, like I said, I'm not sure. I didn't catch it. I could be completely wrong on this part, but I'm pretty sure that Amber claimed that this SA assault happened when they were in Australia the day or the night that his finger was cut off. I found a recording that someone had recorded inside the house the night that Johnny's finger was cut off. We don't know who recorded it, and it has not been submitted into court as evidence because there is more than two people's voices on that recording. It is not just Amber and Johnny. I believe it was Amber, Dr. Kipper, and another nurse Debbie, I think, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And it was recorded by somebody. Again, I don't know who it was recorded by. I don't know if Amber recorded it. I don't know if someone else in the house recorded it, if it was like a maid or a house manager or something to that effect. This was recorded right after Johnny was taken to the hospital for having the tip of his right, I think it was his right middle finger, chopped off by an alcohol bottle by supposedly Amber Heard. On this recording, you can hear Amber being absolutely hysterical in the background. You can hear her crying, sobbing, crying for Johnny Depp, wanting to see Johnny, expressing so much remorse for what had happened to his finger and how she didn't mean to hurt him. She didn't mean to cut his finger off. And you can also hear Dr. Kipper on that recording asking the nurse to give Amber something to calm her down because she was just absolutely hysterical. The court has not heard it. The jury has not heard it. It is just a recording that I found on the interwebs when I was researching the Australia incident. But if that was the same night, and if that was the same recording of the same night that Amber was supposedly sexually assaulted by Johnny Depp with an alcohol bottle, there was she said nothing. She said absolutely nothing on the recording about her being in pain. She said nothing on the recording about how she needed medical attention. And everyone who was there on the Australia incident, everyone who was there that night, not hearing anything about that kind of thing. Because I feel like if a woman tells you something like that something like that happened to her, I feel like that is something that you would really fucking remember. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is Amber Heard also claimed that she was dragged through glass that night as well. Now, everyone who testified who was there that night claimed that they saw absolutely no physical injury of any kind on Amber Heard. No injuries whatsoever, no swelling, no bruising, no redness, nothing on the night of March 8th, 2015 when this Australia incident took place. Even Ben King, who was the house manager at the Australia house that night, he flew all the way back to Los Angeles on March 9th with Amber Heard. They sat next to each other the entire plane ride, and he saw absolutely no injuries on Amber Heard. The only thing he testified as to seeing were a couple of scratch marks on her arm, but Lord only knows how the hell those got there. After all, it is Amber Heard we're talking about, am I right? Now, one thing that I really want to know, that I am so curious about, is I want to know, what is Amber's favorite movie? And you're probably thinking, who the fuck cares what her favorite movie is? There's a point to this. If I had to guess what Amber Heard's favorite movie was, based on her accusations of domestic violence, sexual assault, her behavior, the way she carries herself, the lies that she has told, the amount of times that Amber Heard has committed perjury on the stand already, and we're only on day 2 of her testifying, I'm gonna have to go ahead and guess that Amber Heard's favorite movie might be Gone Girl. Have you ever seen it? No? Well, if you have, then you know, okay? Because let me tell you, there are so many disgusting similarities between the two, between Gone Girl and Amber Heard. It's like, it's mind-blowing. I'm actually pretty sure that a YouTuber or a YouTube channel or something made a video discussing those similarities and showing the similarities. I saw it on YouTube. You can search for it. Just search Amber Heard and Gone Girl and I'm sure it'll pop up. Like, it was just, and that was the first thing I heard, like, even when Johnny was testifying, when he was talking about, like, her behavior and the way that she would record him all the time, and just the little things that she would do, I was like, I'm getting major Gone Girl energy vibes here. Like, this girl sounds like a goddamn psycho. And not only that, but Amber Heard so far, I mean, this is going to be a separate video, but I've noticed that Amber Heard so far does a lot of quoting and a lot of movie lines when she's testifying. It's like she's not being very genuine, she's just quoting movies. I find that to be very interesting. But anyway, I believe that Amber Heard's favorite movie is Gone Girl, and I also believe that she took a lot of notes when watching that movie because the similarities are uncanny. So anyway, going back on the subject of Dr. Hughes, the way she was testifying about these sexual assaults, it's almost like she was there. You know, she was saying it as almost a matter of fact, which is so not okay. And her whole testimony was absolutely disgraceful and unprofessional. And she made Dr. Curry, Dr. Shannon Curry, who we love and stan here, like, look 10 times more amazing, if that's even possible. Speaking of Dr. Curry, is anyone else craving muffins at this moment? I sure as shit am. Now, like I said, if you guys remember me telling you that Dr. Hughes is an expert witness and she has been doing this for over 20 years, 25 years, something like that. Well, one thing that I found very interesting about her is that she could remember and she could recount all of these outlandish things that Amber claimed to have happened to her. She could recite them word for word without a hiccup, without looking down. She was able to talk. She was able to speak like she was there, like it happened to her. She could recite that kind of stuff, no problem. However, when she was asked about Amber's test results on her evaluation, she had to stop and look at her notes. So let me get this straight. You can't remember your job. You can't remember the evaluation that you gave on somebody, but you can remember things they told you word for word in very explicit detail. The fuck? Why? Why can't you remember any of that? It's literally your job. Like, this kind of thing is your job, and you can't remember without looking at your pile of notes. But yet you can recount for every story, abuse, SA that happened to Amber Heard, no problem, without a hitch. Interesting. Now, if you guys remember, Dr. Curry didn't have any of her notes, and she could recite all of her findings of Amber Heard without looking at anything, okay? She was well prepared, she knows how to do her job, and she is a true professional. Not to mention, Dr. Curry has about 10 years less experience in the field than Dr. Hughes does. Dr. Curry has only been doing this for about 15 years, and Dr. Hughes has been doing this for about 25 years. Yet, Dr. Hughes has to look at her notes for her evaluations, yet Dr. Curry can do it without. What the fuck?
And he had difficulty with drinking
And I know Amber Heard's team probably thought they had an absolute bombshell with this one. Like, they probably thought they had just the magic key in their hands to kick off Amber Heard's testimony, but I personally believe that it hurt their case a lot. So after the direct examination with Dr. Hughes was finished, the very next day, which was May 4th, which for me was yesterday, it was time for Dr. Hughes to be cross-examined by Johnny Depp's team. And I was really excited and really anxious for this because I was like, oh my God, they had all night to prepare for this cross-examination. They're going to be so fucking ready. They're going to call her out on all of her lies. They're going to call her out on her bias. And once the cross-examination happened and took place, I feel personally that Johnny Depp's team kind of bombed it, and not in a good way. I feel that they weren't as well prepared as I thought they would be. Johnny Depp's lawyer kind of sounded like he was stumbling over his words, or he was having a hard time trying to make a point. He didn't really call her out like I wanted them to. I feel like Johnny Depp's team is a little bit more calm when it comes to that, like where Amber Heard's team is a little bit more rude, which, I mean, you don't have to be rude, but I just was expecting them to really kind of like call her out. Now, they did call her out on a few things. They called her out on her, like, why she only used the term she, her, women. They did call her out on how she didn't properly, you know, take down these tests with Amber. It wasn't as like groundbreaking or as like, oh, that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more exciting. And unfortunately, I didn't feel they did as good of a job as I thought they would. It was very underwhelming and it was very disappointing, and she just, I feel like, got away with one too many loopholes, I guess. That was the full testimony of Dr. Hughes, what she talked about, what she didn't talk about, how she was supposed to be an expert witness but proved that she is the worst expert witness ever. And now we are on to May 5th. Now, it is May 5th that I'm currently filming this video. Amber Heard is currently on the stand right now as I speak. She started yesterday a little bit, and she is going to be on the stand for probably the next 2 to 3 days. And I'm dying to know, what will her stories be? What lies will she tell? How will she act on the stand? You guys will have to stay tuned for that other video, because I do plan on doing a video talking all about Amber Heard and her behavior and her actions and everything while she is up on the stand. So you guys will have to stay tuned for that. But that was my full video talking all about the psychologists that were brought to the stand as expert witnesses, talking a little bit about Shannon Curry, and talking about the big Ursula, which is Dr. Dawn Hughes, whom I did not like, whom I did not find very credible, but that is my own personal thoughts and opinions. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. If you are big psychologists or psychology junkies like myself, let me know. Did you find Shannon Curry's testimony groundbreaking? What did you think of Dr. Hughes' testimony? Whose did you like better? Whose did you agree with more? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. This was so much fun for me to do. I absolutely love doing these kind of videos. It's actually a lot of fun. Like, I did the one video on this trial and I was like, oh, that'll be the end of it. But I'm like, you know what? I want to keep like typing out notes, and I want to keep filming these videos, and like, I just want to keep it going because I'm having a blast here. Like, this is all so incredibly interesting to me, and I can't wait to start planning the Amber Heard video because, oh my God, I have a feeling that girl is going to put on the best performance of her entire career. If you guys want to see the Amber Heard video talking all about her direct and cross-examination when she is on the stand, let me know down below and I would be more than happy to do that for you guys. But it is still ongoing and I do want it to finish up before I make that video, so it will be a little bit before I can get to that. But nonetheless, let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go down and give it a huge thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. If you are new to my channel and this is the first video of mine that you are seeing, make sure you go down and hit that red subscribe button. I do upload every 3 to 4, sometimes 5 days here. As the rest of you, I love you guys so much. I'm going to get back to watching the court case and finishing my muffins, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. I love you guys. Bye. Justice for Johnny Depp!